Hi and welcome back to the Bolton Hammer YouTube channel. I finally got my Hivestorm kit back from the movers, as well as my furniture. So today I thought I would run through a comparison of between the Hivestorm box and the Ultimate Starter Kit, which some of you may also be considering. As a note, the Hivestorm box is still available at the time that I'm recording this, but it'll only be available while supplies last. If you're thinking about Kill Team, you may also want to consider the Kill Team starter set, which just went on sale recently. Though, as I see it on the local Warhammer store website here, it does look like it's out of stock. But that should be in stock soon, and that will be available for several years on into the future, even if you can't get your hands on it right now. So I've played a few games of Kill Team so far, both on my own and with my kids. We've focused on the co-op game mode laid out in the Hivestorm books, which has the players face off against a computer player. Basically, you set up an enemy force on the opposite side of the board, and the books give you some rules on how the enemy force will behave, how it will move, how it picks its targets for shooting and fighting, etc. It's a great intro, I think, to Kill Team for someone like me who's been a little bit more familiar with some basic 40K concepts, but is not really up to speed on all the nuances of the Kill Team game. The books also give you some rules on how to put the enemy force together, what their stats are, as well as some suggestions on which models to use. There are two types of operatives, Brawler for melee and Marksman for ranged, with 3 levels of toughness each. So far, I've been using my Tyranids from the Ultimate Starter Set, but I've also put together a list using my Orcs. I don't think I quite have enough units from the Space Marines to make an interesting list, though a list is probably possible with what I've got. Um, the rules suggest that your enemy force consists of around 90 wounds using the kill team stat sheets, so they'll have different wounds than the normal 40K game. Um, and based on these rules, here are my lists for the Tyranids and the Orcs that I've put together. Now, this is just what I've got in my collection. You can use literally whatever you've got. You probably could use Lego if you wanted. Just, the little Lego guys, as long as the bases were the right size. Get creative with it. In terms of learning how to play, I'm keeping things pretty simple so far. I've not used any of the special equipment. Uh, I've been very light on the army rules and no stratagems. I've really just been focusing on learning how to move, draw lines of sight, shoot, and fight. As I get more comfortable with those, I'll start to layer on the more complex rules. I think it's been a lot of fun, really, and my kids especially have enjoyed the faster gameplay and being able to cooperate rather than compete. I think we've had some really good and fun gameplay moments, like when the winged Tyranid Prime flew up behind one of the Vespids and absolutely tore it to shreds. 4 hits plus a critical hit against 0 saves. It dealt 21 wounds to a model that only had 9 to start with and absolutely pasted it. So those are my first impressions of the Hivestorm box. Now I want to get into the comparison versus the Ultimate Starter Set. Starting with some similarities, they both include all the basics that you need to get started. The 2 armies, some terrain, basic rules, missions, playboard, dice, rulers, etc. May be worth noting here that the Ultimate Starter Set includes 2 playboards because you need to play Combat Patrol. But that one of those playboards that the Ultimate Starter Set includes is actually the correct size for a kill team game. So they are interchangeable if you end up, like myself, now having both kill team and combat patrol game modes in your home collection. Both boxes also include markers for counting models, victory points, command points, etc. And both boxes also include some lore reading that you can do for background on the armies. There are some major differences, though. In my view, some of the major advantages that Hivestorm has, um, that it includes much more terrain and background material on the teams. It includes rules for 3 and 4-player matches, as well as co-op rules and single-player rules. And it has many different maps with different terrain layouts, um, which help to keep the game varied over time. The Ultimate Starter Set does include this, but only one. It only has one map layout. So any other map layouts you've got to make up on your own. And then in general, the counters for the wounds, command points, etc., they're just much higher quality medium density fiberboard or MDF versus cardstock in the Ultimate Starter Set. Lastly, the models are more customizable with many different heads and poses and stuff available. Where's the Ultimate Starter Set better? First, it has actual training missions to teach you how to play step by step. So this is how you move. This is how you shoot. This is how you charge. This is how you fight. If you've played 40K before, that's not especially helpful. But if you're new, I can't emphasize enough how helpful it is to just have it written out with diagrams on how to do things. Even though I'm a YouTuber, I find it pretty difficult to learn rules from YouTube videos. And so having them in a book, I found to be very helpful and something that is definitely lacking on the Hivestorm side. It also includes instructions on much more extensive instructions on how to build the models. And they also have explainers on how the Games Workshop model building instructions actually work. So I found that that was also very helpful when I was first starting out as a newcomer to the hobby. The models are definitely not as customizable as those in the Hivestorm box, but they are push to fit, which makes them faster and easier to put together. Lastly, if you're thinking that at some point you will want to play the full 40K game, the Ultimate Starter Set just includes way more points than Hivestorm. Remember that a full 40K game is 2,000 points for each army. The Hivestorm box includes 840 points, of which 400 is for the Tyranids and 420 is for the Space Marines. So 840 total versus only 220 in the Hivestorm box, with 90 for the Aquilans and 130 for the Vespids. So the Ultimate Starter Set is a much better starting off point if your ultimate goal is to get to that full 2,000 point 40K army. And it costs less, right? It's a cheaper box than the Hivestorm box. Now I'm also going to mention a few nitpicking items that I have for both boxes. First, the Hivestorm box's wound counters are definitely higher quality, but there's definitely not enough of them. I constantly find myself running out and having to use dice or whatever to keep track of wounds, which is fine, right? You can do that. But the box costs a lot of money, and the little pieces of MDF don't cost very much. And so it would be nice if they included enough. Similarly, both boxes include 10 dice, which in the Hivestorm box is plenty, but the Ultimate Starter Set is not even close to being enough dice. So to give an example, the Infernus Marines in the Ultimate Starter Set get a variable number of attacks, and the average for the squad is maybe between 17 and 18 attacks, but the max is 30 if you roll all sixes. So because you need one dice for each attack, you end up needing to roll in parts, right? The box only includes 10 dice. You could have to roll 10 dice 3 times just to find out how many wounds you've dealt. Similarly, the Barb Gaunts and the Von Ryan's Leapers run into this on the Tyranid side. And so, yes, you can roll in parts. It's not a huge deal, but it's an expensive box, and dice, again, not that expensive. Just includes more dice. Um, Lastly, very minor point, but one that definitely annoyed me at the beginning. In the Ultimate Starter Set, it advertises that it includes stat sheets, and that's true, but the stat sheets are only good for the training missions. They're not the Combat Patrol stat sheets. And this is just a minor point, really, because the Combat Patrol stat sheets and rules and stuff, that's all available for free to download online. But like, why aren't they in the box? Why would you include the stat sheets for the training missions, but not for the actual game mode that fits with the armies that are included? I don't, I don't understand. Um, okay, so my verdict on the 2 boxes, they're great. They're both great, and they've been a lot of fun. But if the Hivestorm box had been available when I was first starting out, I think I might have gotten it instead of the Ultimate Starter Set. Now, controversial take, because I do really like Combat Patrol, uh, but here's my rationale. First, and this is really the most important point for me and for anyone out there in Warhammer, is the rule of cool. I just think that the Vespids and the Quillons are amazing. They're such fun little models, and I think they're cooler than Marines and Tyranids. Um, Second, or to me they are anyway. They may not be to you, but to me they are. Second, there is a lot more terrain, which for whatever reason I find really attractive. You may not care about that, but that means something to me. Um, and it also includes all those different maps and terrain layouts that I mentioned, and that I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into including those. Third, the gameplay in Kill Team is really very fast and surprisingly pretty smooth. And I've been skeptical about this when I was thinking about the Ultimate Starter Set versus the previous Kill Team Starter Set back earlier this year. I was pretty skeptical about all of those claims about Kill Team being faster and smoother, but I found it's actually pretty true. Now I'm not at the full rule game yet, so maybe I'll run into some sticks in the mud still. But even my 5-year-old right now has been able to meaningfully participate in co-op games, whereas before I was really only able to play with my 7-year-old. So that has been a big difference that I've noticed already. Um, Now, with all that said, do I regret buying the Ultimate Starter Set? No. Uh, I think it's great. I might find the Aquilans and the Vespids a little bit more cool, but the Space Marines still are cool. The Tyranids still are cool. I've had a lot of fun, and my long-term goal definitely still is to build a full 40K army. And while I like the Guard and I like the Orcs, it might be Space Marines still. We'll see. It might be Dark Angels. And so having that base from the Ultimate Starter Set, I think it's just a better place to start if your ultimate goal is to get to that 2,000 point full army, hands down. Um, all that said, though, for me, for now, I'm gonna play a lot of Kill Team. and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. Um, so I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to pick up the Hivestorm set still, or if you're thinking about the Kill Team starter set, or if you're still going to go full on to the Ultimate starter set. Tell us about it in the comments. And also be sure to hit like and subscribe. And last note, sorry if I have a bit of a lisp today. I really cut my tongue yesterday, and it's still healing a little bit. So hopefully it's not too bad. But anyway, thank you, and see you next time on the Bolt and Hammer YouTube channel.